Hello again and welcome to the VK6CS Fun with Amateur Radio channel. Now, a very long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I was a spotty teenage oik. And when I was at school, I made a valve transmitter, an AM transmitter. And it had a 5763 output valve, a 60H6 buffer, an EF91 VFO, a variable frequency oscillator, and it was choke modulated with an EL84 and an ECC82. It's just a little small 10 watt AM transmitter. And way back then, people often used light bulbs instead of a 50 ohm dummy load, just to tune the transmitter up and see how it looked, see how much power was coming out of it generally, and just to see if the modulation was incremental, that sort of thing. Now, incremental modulation means that in AM means that the carrier amplitude gets larger with the modulation. I've seen a bit on the net recently about the new FT991 having decremental modulation. That means when you modulate, when you talk into the microphone, instead of the carrier amplitude getting greater, it gets smaller. So I just thought I'd show you a couple of quick things, you could try, just to make sure that if you're going to use the AM mode, your amplitude modulation is incremental. Now, I went down to the hardware store yesterday and I picked up a 150 watt floodlight lamp. Has to be a lamp with a filament in it. LED lamps and fluoro lamps, and that won't do. You have to have an old school type lamp with a filament in it, and you can actually look into the lamp and see the filament. Now, now the lamp doesn't present a 50 ohm impedance, and of course the impedance changes from cold to hot, so you can't tune it cold. The FT450 has pretty good SWR protection on it, so if it sees a high SWR, it folds the power back or turns the transmitter off. So you've got to be a little bit careful. I wouldn't be doing this with an 817, although an 817 probably wouldn't light a light bulb up, come to think of it. But I had to match the lamp with the radio using the ATU. So first of all, I'll just show you I'll just press the PTT and you'll see in the background, the lamp is standing up in the background, you'll see the lamp illuminate. There's the PTT pressed, and you heard the alarm tone from the radio there, because as soon as I press the PTT, it sees a high SWR until the filament actually starts producing some light, and then it drops down. It changes to the impedance that the radio is happy with. You can see I've got it selected to SWR. I hope you can see anyway, and there's practically no reflected power there. There's the lamp in the background that's illuminated. I'll release the PTT, press the PTT again, and because the filament was hot, it didn't present the unreasonable impedance to get the alarm tone. Now, I'll just show you quickly the ATU. So if I can get the ATU and the lamp in, it would be good. Let's just see if we can. I don't know if you're going to be able to actually see the lamp and the. You might be able to. Let's see if I can show you the tuning the radio into the lamp. Remember, when you do this initially, you select the inductor you're going to use with the PTT released. So you press the PTT, set the inductor, and then you find the one with the minimum SWR. It might not be that much smaller than the others, but you will see one is smaller than the others, and you adjust the capacitors in the normal way, as you would be tuning an antenna. I don't know if you can see that. You might just be able to see those. See what I wanted to do really was have the lamp, I'll get the lamp in the corner there, and the needles, so you can see the lamp glowing in that top left hand corner there. and you can see, hopefully you can see, that left hand needle on the antenna tuning unit coming up there. It should be showing about 25 watts. And you'll see the needle on the left hand side, on the right hand side rather, is not moving at all. And if I adjust this, you can see that needle coming up as the SWR, as the radio complains about the SWR. See that needle going up and down on the right hand side scale there? And as you can see that, you can see the lamp going dimmer and brighter with the tuning. Okay, so now let's just get that down to the minimum again. I'll just turn the light. This will make the display disappear for you because it's too bright, but it will just let me just tweak that in. There we go. Okay, so now zoom out a bit. There we go. So now you should see the lamp getting brighter with the modulation. It's set to AM, this radio, and you should see the lamp getting brighter with the modulation. That's showing incremental modulation, which is what you want. If the lamp gets dimmer, that's decremental modulation, and that's what you do not want. So you can see with full modulation there, that light bulb is getting considerably brighter with the modulation. That's showing incremental modulation. I'll just show you what that incremental modulation looks like on an oscilloscope. Got a little high impedance takeoff point there, so just so I can see the output waveform. Now all I need to do, the filament's cooled down again, so it's going to get a little alarm just for that second until it gets to something like 50 ohms again. Now can I, as I say on every video, this is amateur radio. Can we look straight down on that? Okay, well, there's the carrier. Let's make that a bit smaller. This is a very old scope. I bought this back in 1986, I think. There's the carrier. That's me talking. So if I now whistle, see, a modern scope would just automatically trigger on that, no problem at all. Well, I hope you can see that. Hang on, let's just see if we can zoom in a bit on that. So this is an old scope, and it's not triggering very well. But turn that down a little bit, that intensity. And you can see the amplitude. The amplitude is increasing with my voice. I'll speed up the tone base. 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. Now that's incremental modulation, and you can see the little flat lines in the middle just appear occasionally from time to time. That's just a little bit of over modulation there. But that's what an AM signal looks like. And that's what the incremental modulation looks like. Because the amplitude is getting bigger with my voice. Okay, hang on. So that's how you can tell if you've got incremental modulation. I say most of these don't hold me responsible if you connect it to a lamp and you damage your PA. It might just be that the FT450 is particularly robust. But I think most modern radios have got high SWR protection. You only need that for that initial keying up and you know, just that initial tune up. You need that protection in there. Once the lamp's illuminated, the radio is quite happy to run into it. But as you can see, you can use an ATU to tune your radio into a lamp. You can see the power produced by the radio's illumination in the lamp, and you can see if the modulation is incremental by the lamp getting brighter. Now I'll just disconnect that probe. Now, when you buy a 100-watt radio like the FT450 and you set it into AM mode, you'll notice that the carrier that comes out of it is only about 25% of the output power of the radio. So if the radio is a 100-watt radio like the FT450, when you set it to AM, you'll notice that only about 25 watts come out of it. Now that's perfectly normal, because the amplitude modulation, the modulation power in that amplitude modulation has to come from somewhere. And the peak power in a 100% modulated AM signal is 4 times the carrier power. So if the radio will run 100 watts SSB, peak SSB, and it will run 100 watts FM, it will only run 25 watts AM. You see, some of the radios will produce a bit more carrier. They'll set the carrier power to 30%, but what happens then is the modulation becomes quieter. You're not getting the depth of modulation. So because of the difference in signal strength between 25 watts and 30 watts would be absolutely nothing at the receive end, it's much better to run it at the 25%, around 25 watts, so the modulation is far more incremental, so it will be a louder signal. I'll just show you, if I go to FM mode like that and press the PTT, you can see how bright that lamp is in the background there. I'll go back to AM. There we go, it's about 25% of that, and when I whistle into the microphone it will go up to that peak brightness, or close to it. And you can see the brightness of the lamp increase there with the modulation. So if you don't have a 50 ohm load and you've got a fairly modern solid state radio, I'd say there wouldn't be any problem trying to load it into a dummy load, but into the lamp with your ATU. The older ones, the PAs will be a bit fussier. You might damage the power amplifier in your solid state radio by trying to do this. Any kind of valve radio, valve amplifier, no problem whatsoever. Tuning it into a light bulb, very common practice. It's been done since transmitters existed, I think, and certainly I've done it many times, many years ago, many moons ago, many decades ago, playing around with 807s and 813s and that sort of stuff. Actually, not so much 813s because you need a lot of light bulbs, but 807s, 5763s, 10 watts, anything up to 100 watts, a couple of 100 watts, a light bulb or two is a very good dummy load. I'll let you see what's going on. Okay, well, I hope you found that interesting or entertaining. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.